Hey, this is Debbie, and I am here today with my amazing co host,
Tricia.
Yay. And we are here with our podcast, Your Life Redefined. This is the place where we talk about those things in life that are nothing but opportunities where we get to do what, Tricia?
Redefine things that may not seem like they're the best thing for us, but guess what? Nothing happens to us, it happens for us. And that's what we're here redefining.
So I got something to ask you about. Of
Okay.
course, I don't know what we're going to talk about today.
I'm always busting to talk to you about something. In fact, I've had to keep myself from calling you because I knew we would talk about everything and then we'd get on here and we'd say, now, didn't we already talk about that? But we did, but just
Yeah.
on the phone.
It was about the session yesterday, the breath work session.
Yes.
Breath work for me, I have a mixed relationship with it.
Okay. What do you mean?
Because I trust you, that's one side. And the experience you and I had together when you did it with me that very first time. However, I don't know if I told you previous, my relationship with breath work is anytime I had my hypnotist, she would offer, she knew I hated it. I hated the journey. It was just excruciating, painful, fearful. I would hyperventilate. I don't even know if that's what you call it. That's what I call it.
I guess I'm asking what kind of breath were they guiding you and were they guiding you the whole time?
Oh, yeah. They were guiding me the whole time. It was just super fearful. It was very fearful. It was anxiety, like you wouldn't believe. So set that aside. That was Then I have that experience with you. Then I get on yesterday. Was not good. So there's something in there that I feel that whether I have to work through it, I had to get up, I had to sit. I finally, at the very end, when she got past the peak, going into that peak, I was just like this on the inside. And when I would try to start breathing, it was like I was being, right here, it was like I was being held. I'd get super dizzy. And then when it finally calmed down and I was able to calm down, and then I was able to come into that home and it was just peaceful. But up until then, it wasn't. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, I got some questions for you around that. First of all, you had this session with me and you haven't said positive, negative, what?
No, it was a good session with you. Very good session. And then the vision that I got, the journey that I got, it was just fair. So I was, yay, this is good. Okay, awesome. This is just a different technique. I resonate better with this technique.
But what we did Sunday that you and I both were on is the same technique. It's the same because what Debbie's referring to, this is for anybody who doesn't know about breath work, is that on Sundays I trained as a breathwork facilitator with alchemy of breath, and that's conscious connected breath. We breathe like an ocean wave. I had not always had a good relationship with breath work. Actually, I had no relationship with breath work prior to becoming, and I don't know if I've already talked about this, but how the first time I ever did breath work was in Sedona, probably 10 years ago. And it was a holotropic breath work, which is very much hyperventilating. Fast forward to when I did ayahuasca, and there was breath work every night, and the other people were having major releases and breakthroughs. And here again, I was trying really hard. Nothing happened. The first time I had a serious wow, like when I say mind-blowing experience, the breath work to me is the key. It's my bridge to connect me to all that is. It's my bridge to my higher self. And that is my goal when I'm doing breath work with anyone, for them to be able to connect to their selves and their clarity. So I can't really explain why it's not the person doing it, that it is the breath, and it's the person that's actually breathing that is in complete control, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Most of the people that I've done breath with have had some pretty remarkable experiences, and they've either connected with somebody on the other side. They've had like big aha, clarity, or at the very least, had a really relaxing session where it was like they felt like they had a good nap. And if they do, then that's what they needed.
Mhm.
So with you and what you just experienced on Sunday, I want to ask you a question. When we've talked before, even over the last couple of weeks when we've just talked on Zoom on our personal conversations, I see you grabbing your throat, and I've brought that up to you a couple of times.
Mhm.
There's something there, trapped
Mhm.
energy. Usually that means that you haven't spoken your truth. I don't know what that is because you are so powerful in speaking your truth and speaking for a living, and you're so good at it.
Mhm.
But that typically what it is. So then you just said yesterday that you felt like you had
Mhm.
a hand around your throat.
Mhm.
I consider this a gift, Deb, that is something for you to explore, not something to, I'm not doing breath work. In fact, I would say,
Yeah.
let's do more breath work.
No, I agree, and that's why I bring it up with you because I'm not afraid of it. I feel it does have a message for me. I just did not know if you had experience around that with somebody. Had you experienced somebody having that type of response?
Everybody has different responses. So there are some things that happen that are atypical but typical, things that you can look for. People's hands might get a little cramped up because they're carbon dioxide leaving their body, things
Yeah.
like that. Physical, the physiological. But as far as when it's dealing with person's emotions and their energy, and
Mhm.
it's wide open. So I would
Mhm.
love to do that. When I was with, I don't even know if I mentioned this, but a few weeks ago, I went to the Hoda Kotb's wellness retreat. I was there to help facilitate breath work with Anthony and Amy Abagnano, who I adore, that founded Alchemy of Breath, right? And we were able to facilitate breath work on groups of 24, 28 people at a time. And I'm always so wowed by what it does for people. It's very personal, each
Mhm.
one, each session. That's why it's really, I think it's a, in fact, you know how you mentioned to me this week, you said that I'd mentioned that the breath is the first thing you do when you come
Yeah.
into this world and the last thing you do when you leave. I was
Mhm.
working on a project for Kia. It's like very left brain. I was using my left brain. I've gotten really good at stepping over here and using my right brain. But on the way home, I thought, this is not how I want to feel going into a conversation with you or really with anybody. So on the way home, I practiced the heart coherence breath. And I think it's a perfect breath that you and I could do together, even at the start of before any of our conversations. Really think it's a great breath to do with somebody that you either A, have to have a tough conversation with, or B, you're wanting to speak your truth. Because what the heart coherent breath does, and it was developed by Heart Math Institute many years ago, it actually does true physiologic, all your cells line up. And when you do it with somebody and you breathe it together, you are in sync. Not
Mm.
just, oh, we're in sync. Your everything, your physiological, your heartbeat, your whole blood pressure, everything gets in line with each other. And it allows you to have clarity, clear thinking, calm down, everything. Just upon waking, sometime during the day, and before you go to sleep at night. And your shoulders come down a
Mhm.
little bit off of your ears. And it's just something, it's a great thing to do before you go into a meeting, before you have a discussion with somebody, anything like that.
Yeah.
It's a really good go to breath. Now, that is not considered a breath work, but it is a breath practice that's beneficial to many. Enough about breath words.
So is that our in breath for this session?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, say so. And then we'll exit breath. How about that?
Yeah, we'll do it the same way because what it'll do is put us in the Motive will be going in there and just float into whatever it is that we're going into this evening.
So what do you want to talk about on this episode?
Really, you know what? It's basically nothing in particular and everything.
Mhm.
So when you and I talk, I really just want to know what's been happening.
Yeah.
And
I
and
s I signed up for this retreat that took me how long to get signed up?
I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited about that.
Oh, I didn't realize I had so many issues around again, going back to my voice, and that's why because I signed up on Sunday was the same day we did the breath work and all of that, that's where I was like, "Does this have a lot to do with it?" Because what I've realized this weekend is how much my entire life I have either lowered myself for lack of a better word so that someone else feels better or higher or more than me. I did not realize that was a default of mine. And so as I started to realize that when you presented the retreat as an option, I was like, oh, okay, just real flippant. But then when I started reading the words and the whole self care and 8 days, I was going,
Yeah, okay, you've just mentioned a retreat. Tell 'em what I'm co-facilitating a
yeah.
retreat that Debbie is now going on, and I'm so excited. It's to Panama, and it's in March. There's still spaces if you want to go.
I was
That's
gonna say not many, but there's still
yeah.
space. And when you sent me the link to go, I at first it was jump in there, but then when it actually came time to get it, my whole insides just you're not worthy enough. No, don't waste the money was a big thing that went off in my head. Not the right time. How can you be gone that long? And then, of course, what about this? What about that on all the home front? My husband and all of those kinds of things just went off. And oh, will he be upset? So, through the coaching with you through it all, you were like, don't sign up unless you're ready. And I appreciate you giving me that clarity and that freedom. But I'm just the type of person that wants to sit with those fears because I want to live a life of ease. So if you want to live a life of ease, you want to redefine your fears, right? That's the whole point of what we're doing in Your Life Redefined. So that's where I go into, right? You recognize to redefine anything, you have to recognize it before you can release it and replace it. So applying our own belief system, I went through that. And ultimately, I am signed up for the retreat. So,
You know what? And I was so glad that you did, but
mhm,
as you alluded to,
yeah,
I said, do not. I don't, in fact, I didn't want you to push the button because, okay, if you buy something and have the even smallest, like where it doesn't feel good, it
yep,
it's not going to be good. Wait, just wait.
yeah.
I remember a story, and this is an Abraham Hicks story from a long time ago. And she said, Esther said that she went into a store one time and she found the most beautiful blouse. And it was like, oh, she couldn't wait. And she turned over the tag and it was like some ungodly amount for her at the
Mhm.
time. And she was like mad at the store, mad at them for
Yes.
mad at whoever made.
Wow.
Whereas if she had bought that right then, that blouse, it would have not been, she would have never felt good about wearing it. She would have
Yeah.
not enjoyed it whatsoever. And so later she went back because you can revisit things. So this isn't just about a shirt or a trip or
Right.
anything. This is about if you do it and you push through something just because I'm signing up for this because I know I'm supposed to, but it really doesn't feel good, not going to be the right thing for you. But you can always back up and go, okay, like what you did. You
Mhm.
examined where is this coming from? Where is this? Am I relating this to my own worth?
Yeah.
And damn it, Debbie, I'm so glad you came to the realization that you freaking are
Or
worth.
worthy. Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah. So I never mentioned it again.
Mhm.
You never do
Mhm.
anything out of fear. You never do anything. And there's only two things, right? Love and fear.
Yeah.
Every other emotion is a varying degree of love and fear. Feeling not worthy is on the fear side.
Right.
But if you feel fantastic about something, you dang do it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't care if it's something big.
It wasn't just that. this is actually part of the work, right? For all the work that you feel like
Mhm.
you've done in your life, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, period. It doesn't matter what the teacher is, right? The teacher is always going to show up. So for me, when I ask my clients to level up, all right, when I ask my clients to step in, so for me, it's that challenge of, all right, I asked that of them. Where's my level up, right? Where's my process of leveling up? But in the level up process, you got to be so in tune and redefining what that journey has for you. So the other part for me was the phrase that I heard go off in my head was it's connect and grow has been what my words have been throughout 2024, connect and grow. I literally reclused for so many years. I turtled when I was going through my transformation because I was so out there and so far out there. The recluse was simply time to heal. It was time to redefine my life and what that had for me. I didn't become a hermit, trust me. I'm talking about when your feelings didn't feel aligned. You went into the feeling to find out what it was. That's what I meant by that.
Okay, okay.
So, my past mind for a retreat, no lie, this came out because I haven't been on a treating myself ever, let alone in years. But for the mindset now, what came up for me when I went to sign up and I didn't want it, but it was there. It was, who are you going to meet? Who are you going to be able to interact with? And I went, whoa, because there was such dissonance with that, that there was a letting go process of that for me because this wasn't about any of that. It's about, here's the visual that I got. It's stepping in my light of who I am. Because this is where it comes out of is the light. That's probably why I hold there a lot too. But the light comes out this way. And there's no more having to seek to be the light. I am the light,
Yes, you
our light, and it's just stepping in and being. And once I got that vision, and then when I would get there, I'd literally just exhale that because exhale to me means you got to inhale first, right? So I would just exhale and then do the next step. Does that make sense?
I think it does, but I have a question around that.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, let me say, applaud you for being that introspective. There are many people that just, they'll say, I just, it just makes me mad or whatever. And they're not going,
Mm.
okay, what about this? Because energetically, and everything is energy, as we discussed last week and is forevermore.
Mhm.
Energetically, there's always something going on. And when we feel anything other than just content, joy, elation, really, just anything other than the I feel good, neutral
Yeah.
and above,
Yeah.
anything neutral and below, that just means, in my belief, in my knowing, but I'll call it a belief, that just means that you're not thinking about you the way your higher self thinks about you, the way your inner being thinks about you. So it's actually a gift. So
Mhm.
the thing I'm applauding you about is because you recognize that, hey, oh, that doesn't feel good. That
Mhm.
means my higher self doesn't think this. He redefined
You
it.
redefined it. But that is the redefining process for me, and I feel that for the past I would just blow through everything, Tricia, in my life. I wouldn't care. It was like, "Oh, just whatever. It's all gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Let's just do it." When in reality, I the reflecting, the introspective work, that is just where the frickin' power is, when you can get into that. It's interesting too. I just had a memory. Having your own business and feeling worthy to be able to send your invoices, even if it's a negotiated contract. And I remember years ago, I struggled so much sending invoices to my clients.
Oh,
I know, isn't that crazy? That's supposed to be your money, you're getting paid. And I'd sit there and I'd be like, oh, and I would literally just send it and just go, oh, I hope they don't think it's too much money. And one time I was like, Debbie, stop. This should be rejoicing and all the feels. What is this feel coming up? And I sat with it. And have you ever looked at the word invoicing? When
no.
you separate it, it's in and voice.
So
Just,
that,
yeah, it's,
Mm.
Yes. And
Wow.
so what, and even to this day, like I just sent a pretty significant invoice earlier this month. I couldn't send it. I had to just leave it up on my computer until I felt, knew I was worthy, but I still battled the
So I gotta tell you, invoicing is one of my favorite things in the corporate world where I've always done that because to me, it was a energetic exchange just because I knew that they were getting what they wanted and we were going to do it dang good. And they
yeah,
were happy to pay because, or like you said, negotiated contract. You already got a price. They've already agreed to it. It's not like
yeah,
you had to drag them into it, which is why I would have never tried to drag you. Would I have just said, oh, shoot, I hate Deb because your energy. In fact, that is one thing Rebecca said. She saw our podcast. I
yeah.
love her energy.
Oh,
And,
that's so
and
sweet.
yeah, and that of course, I would have missed that terrible, but it's
Yeah,
the same thing like you said, whenever you before you s you gotta feel good about it before you send the invoice, you gotta feel good about it before you buy the
yeah,
blouse, you
yeah.
before
It's
you
all of it. And what here's a matter of fact, this whole weekend I've been like in 6 and 7 energy, this really high level of energy. And what's come out of it is a take on 2025 is the year of expansion. So that's the message that was my download. And so with that, I am going for the first time ever. You talk about leveling up. A year ago to today, me offering anything for free was so calculated and I was so limited in that going, what? Because I just didn't have understanding around it. Because coming from the corporate world, exchange of energy, and I always was scared people would take advantage of me. So 2024, I spent leveling up, learning, going, all right, if I'm asking my clients to level up, where am I leveling up? I brought high level coaches into my life to really level up myself.
I got a question,
Yeah.
sorry. You've used the term "level up" many times, and I'd already written it down right here, if you could see that.
Yeah.
Level up. What does that mean to you?
To
What does that
me,
yeah, just what is it? What is level up?
if you're at this level, do you want to go to the next level?
I know, but you were saying
It's like 10x. It's just it's a buzzword.
okay, it just means continuous, expansion.
Yeah. For me, the visual that I had, it was like I was up against a glass ceiling and I could stay where I was. You can always stay where you are, but if you want to go to the next level up, you got to break through that ceiling. So is that on a spiritual realm, a personal realm, a business realm? You define all of that yourself. For me, it is a it's spiritual first. Where am I? It's redefining. So where am I doubting? Where is the fear and getting that out of the way? Because here's the thing, you are always expanding. What are you expanding?
Yeah.
So are you expanding fear? You're always expanding. Yeah. 2025 for me is the year of expansion. It's what do I want to expand?
You can always just back up, redefine how
Yeah.
you feel about and go revisit it again later. You know what? Level up to me now that you say level up.
What?
I always see, I, to me, life is a game. We're only here for a little bit of time. And so when I see it, when somebody says something like level up is, I see Mario, the little Mario character
Uh-huh.
from a game. And he's like running and he's like trying to jump up there. Daddy, mate. He's running. Let's jump up there.
That's what you kept seeing as effort.
But no, it's a game. I don't see it as an
Okay.
effort.
Oh,
No, I see it as fun.
got to.
But it is okay. I got to get up there. I'm going to do it. But it is like a game. It's like using our meditation, but breath, everything. It's like a joystick.
Yeah, no, it is a game. It's just leveling up. It's 10xing. It's you can sit on the sidelines if you want to sit on the. You can observe if you want to play the role of the of this. Where do you want to play in the arena? Where do you want to play the game at?
And you can always take a breath and sit on the sideline. Or
That's all of it, and I think that's actually all part of it. If you're just constantly in this, does that become what I call level 2 energy? Right? It's where you fighting. It's nothing that. It's how do you be in the ease of it?
I heard this today on a podcast that I was listening to that this adorable
I know.
girl. Her name is Erin Jensen, and I met her at the Hodakotb weekend.
Okay.
And she has her own podcast. She's actually a writer, entertainment writer for USA Today, but she also has her own podcast.
Okay.
And so I listened to it today, and her guest on there was talked about being on this level and that where you plateau. So, like when you hit a plateau and not being able to go, how long are you going to stay at the plateau?
And if you're on the plateau, it's time to level up, unless you want to stay on the plateau, right?
So, I would highly recommend that podcast after you listen to ours, of course. And it's Erin Jensen. I'm trying to see the name of it. It's really good. Oh, here it is. It is called
Here's how.
HEARS How. Here's How. So good. So, I'll watch that one.
I'm a big believer in words. You know that words are like super important to me, anything with communication. So I have those word cards, be with words. But yes, be with words. This morning, I drew my words. I've been drawing the same exact group of words, like over and over: reflection, partnership, communication, breakthrough, all these certain ones. This morning, same exact thing. Communication came through, reflection came through. I literally just flipped through the deck. I don't know how many cards are in this deck, 70 something. Look, breakthrough just popped up all on their own. I'm talking the whole deck. Now, breakthrough now. It's with partnership.
Look what, okay, so I didn't know how to use the cards. I told Debbie that really the other day. But while she was just saying it, 'cause she sent me these before I went to room,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So I just drew 3 of the cards, and it came up as making a difference,
Yeah.
normalize now.
There you go.
So when you said how many cards are in this deck?
I don't know, 70, I think? Yeah, it's crazy.
All there is now.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's one thing. If we're ever feeling in a funk or whatever, anything other than neutral or above, then we know that everything is just right now. So if I can make just this moment, let me think
Yeah.
of something that makes me feel better. I don't care if it's the sound of a kid laughing, that may make you feel better, it may make you feel worse. Or looking at a flower or petting a cat or dog or whatever. That's our taking a breath. Oh my God.
Oh,
Who knew? I didn't. That the breath was going to end up being my most, not only important for living, but important for life.
yeah.
Redefining my life for real, for true.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the biggest thing is what's the next step forward? And that's it. It's what's the next step forward. If you're going to plummet, because we're going to have moments where we go up and down, up, down, up and down. That's part of the journey. That's the gift we give to ourselves to go, what does this moment have for me right now?
So to me, that's contrast. The up and downs sometimes go back like a rubber band before it can project.
Mhm.
More it's the 2 steps forward and 1 step. They'll go to
Mhm.
project you. So when we have contrast, which is what you're talking about, when we have contrast, the things that don't feel good, they're there for teaching us. They're there for us, not happening to us. And that is part of the expansion. As long as we don't stay stuck in that contrast, like a scratch on a record when we play records,
Mhm.
where it's going to skip and just stay there.
But I think that's also the whole purpose for why we're doing Your Life Redefined. You're going to have those moments that you get to redefine. And in redefining, yeah, is where it's magical, right?
Perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to this episode of Your Life Redefined. Hopefully it'll help you in redefining your life situations. Reach out to us, send us messages, and actually, if you would, just like and share this so you can get it to some more of your friends and we can continue doing this.